What is going on, everybody? Welcome here into Breaking Bet on this Wednesday. It's week 2 in the NFL. I got the one and only Brad Thomas joining me here to break down this slate and have another successful week. Brad, my friend, how you doing?
Dude, I'm freaking jazzed, bro. Like, I don't think week 1 could have started off any better, man. Like, I hit that plus 2200, I hit a plus 300, hit a plus 300. It was
Ooh.
crazy. And I'm not, and like, I'm not, you know me, I'm not like a big long shot player. I play them when I feel like it
Yeah.
fit. And it was really sick, man. I was really stoked with the result. I kind of messed up on Monday night. I should have never bet it. It wasn't a game for me. Forced the action a little after coming off a hot week, but overall, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, sometimes you get like that. You just want to have some action. Football's
Yep.
back, so totally understand. I had a little long shot play going as well here. But yeah, man, overall, like thoughts on last week. It was great to have the NFL back. I think unders went 11-1 before the Sunday night game on Sunday. And listen, I'll be honest. In my opinion, there really wasn't a lot going on. I mean, there was a couple big performances here and there, but a lot of teams, look like their key guys didn't play in the preseason.
Yep.
And we saw a lot of that. And, look, I'm not going to be hypercritical. It's week 1, and, we're in a new era here where guys are playing even less in the preseason. So week 1 is, in effect, their first time seeing any sort of extensive action. But it was good to have the sport back. It was good to get back in the rhythm. We had a lot of our star players put up duds. I think there could be some rebound here in week 2. So why don't you talk to me about what you're expecting in this week's slate?
Man, I'm expecting a lot of overreactions. Like for anybody who's a stats better, and when they look at advanced metrics like success rate, EPA, and all that, you're gonna see a lot of skewed numbers that are gonna make you overreact, right? Like 2 of the worst defenses per EPA were the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. That's just because every time it felt like the Ravens were running the ball, it was going for a first down. Every time it felt like the Bills were passing the ball, it felt like it was going for a first down, which just kind of skews the numbers. Or like the Tennessee Titans, offensive EPA numbers are weird, right? They had the worst EPA performance by far, but against probably the best defense in the league, which obviously your number is going to be skewed. Like it'd be different if the Tennessee Titans played against the Carolina Panthers week 1. They'd probably be a middle of the pack with the same kind of statistical output that they had. So I think there's going to be a lot of overreaction. I haven't seen too much in terms of market movement compared to the overreaction, but dude, we're still a ways away from Sunday, and I think it's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good show here last Wednesday where I think we were on the right side of a lot of the games. And
Yep.
kind of like our format here of getting a preview in the middle of the week before all the injuries come out and kind of getting our initial feelings of what the lines look like.
Yep.
Obviously, there's been some movement. San Francisco, New Orleans, which we'll get to later, that has seen a lot of movement because of the injuries. George Kittle's out. Brock Purdy looks like he's going to be facing a multi-week absence here as well. But I think in this format, us getting a pretty, I would say, early look at the market, typically, sharper bettors are going to be looking at getting something in on Sunday when the lines drop after the games, or even on Mondays. But
Yep.
Wednesdays, you're still getting some pretty good numbers here on the board. So, Brad, let's start off with tomorrow's game. The Washington Commanders are going to Green Bay. The Packers 3.5 here, 48.5-point total. I'll be honest, and I like Washington this year. I love Jaden Daniels. I was on him a Rookie of the Year last year. I wasn't necessarily impressed with what Washington did.
No.
You're going to see the final score. Well, what do you mean they blew him out? The Giant defense played well. They
Yep.
played well for a lot of the game. There was a couple big plays. The Deebo Samuel end around was kind of put the nail in the coffin. Bill Krosky had a really nice run for the touchdown. He had a couple big gainers. But overall, the Giants defense played pretty well. Washington did not look convincing. Had Russell Wilson, if he had any brain cells left, the Giants were really a one possession away from really making this an uncomfortable game for the Commanders. So the score looks a little bit bigger than what it should have been. Green Bay, I was impressed by. A Detroit Lions team, even without Ben Johnson, some of the most individual talent in the NFL, they won convincingly, and they held this team to 13 points. So, and honestly, the only reason why they scored a touchdown was because Isaac Tesla had one of the most incredible catches that you'll ever see. Short week, Thursday nights. I'm not rushing to bet it, but this is going to be a good game. This could be a playoff matchup we see in a few months. I think I'm probably leaning with Green Bay, 3.5 here. I really like what the Packers have. I think they have enough playmakers. And Washington's defense, I don't think it looked as impressive as it did on paper. And I think Green Bay's offense will be able to move the ball and put up a decent amount of points here in this one to be able to cover the spread.
Yep, I agree. I like the Packers here slightly. I think the Commanders is one of those teams that had a couple situations where if something goes different, you have talk about the outcome being different, and that's with Krosky Merritt. Great first game, but take away that long run, it feels like the Commanders struggled to run the ball against the Giants front seven. The Packers have a better front seven than the Commanders. Than the Giants. What I am really interested, there's two plays, and I haven't landed on which one. I think both can hit, but I think because the Commanders are going to struggle to run the ball, it sets up two different plays. The first one, this is what I'm probably going to bet for sure. You need to just do more shopping on it. And that's Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. It looks like the Commanders are doing the exact same thing that the 49ers did. Get him the ball in space, 10 targets, 7 receptions in game one. Deebo Samuel, you can be an extension of the run game when you're not running the ball successfully. I also like Jaden Daniels over 8.5 rushing attempts. That's the one I'm not sure if I'm going to play yet, but I'm leaning there. I just think one of the two is an extension of the run game when you use your quarterback's legs, or you get the ball to I guess that'd be their best weapon at this point.
Yeah. Any love here for maybe something a little bit further down the board? I understand Green Bay's defense last year against running backs was really good. I mean, you saw what they did to Jahmyr Gibbs, completely took him out of the equation. It was very strong. But any sort of sentiment maybe for like Bill Krosky Merritt to get back in the end zone here tomorrow night, plus 220. I'm just looking on FanDuel. All these numbers, by the way, are on FanDuel. So obviously shop around. But Bill Krosky Merritt north of 2-1. Maybe a little steep here.
Yeah, it was weird about his rush numbers. His rush numbers are around 43.5. It feels inviting, right? It feels like one of those lines where after the big game, they're going to set him at 43.5. It makes you, he got crushed. Oh my God. He's down to 38.5 now. When you set it at 43.5, it makes you feel like, oh, I got to take the over. When I was going to say I would bet the under because their run defense good, but that dream's gone. Holy crap. 83.5 now.
I also probably would be considering something along the lines. I got to check the injuries. I don't know what the status is for all the players, but I feel like maybe Romeo Doubs is being a little underrated. Maybe to get in the end zone as well. He's plus 220.
Yeah.
I think some of these ancillary guys are worth a look in this one because if you really look at it, Romeo Doubs, I think, is going to end up emerging as one of Jordan Love, at least for the early part of the season, his top target for the year. I mean, Jaden Reed is a dog, but he's still hit or miss on a week-to-week basis, capable of big plays. I think Matthew Golden, they're still figuring out what they have there. Obviously, Tucker Kraft's big. He's north of 2-1 as well to score. But I feel like Romeo Doubs is definitely somebody that's worth considering. I'll probably have a little bit better idea of what I'd officially want to play from a prop perspective. But if I'm laying aside here, I think I'm going to lay a 3 and a hook with Green Bay on a short week.
Yeah. for me. I listen. And the Commanders can definitely win this game, but if you're just talking about on paper, Packers for all day, I think they're gonna. I think this is gonna be like we're gonna look back at this after weeks 1 and 2 and talk about the Packers are slaying some really good teams because they're a really good team.
Yeah. Yeah. Green Bay definitely has a tough schedule this year, but they're a team that should be on the come up. That trendy dog pick that they had coming into last year
Yep.
when it didn't really work out that way, it could potentially be this year. Maybe a year late for some of these people on that trendy dog look. All right, Brad. The Baltimore Ravens have a chance to avenge that horrific loss in Buffalo on Sunday night. They're going to be facing the Cleveland Browns. This number was, I think, 13 and a half a couple days ago. It's come down. I think a lot of people are believing Cleveland getting that many points in a divisional game is a little much. It's down to 11 and a half. Baltimore on the rebound. Where are you going with this one?
I lean the Ravens here. The Baltimore Ravens played tremendous until they got Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen's the type of quarterback who at no point is he going to be dead. Then the line jumped, I think, all the way down to 11 and a half now. I think I'm going to see if it keeps going. It opened at 13. If this line gets to 11 flat, that's a 2-point move, which I think is overly drastic. The Cleveland Browns played another divisional game last week, and they played against a defense that just kind of let them hang around. It wasn't a good performance at all by the Bengals, which I think is going to give the Browns trouble here. So I lean Baltimore, but I want to see what happens because, like, we're already at a 1.5-point line move. If we get to 2.5, then I feel like that's something that you kind of have to at least entertain.
I'm not rushing to bet this game, but early look on this on a Wednesday night here
Yeah.
because I want to see, like you, I want to see what the line movement does over the next few days.
Yep.
You know, does this come down? Are people still buying Cleveland at 11 and a half? Does this come down to maybe 11 flat or even 10 and a half? Because it's not just, well, Baltimore's got to get right after what happened. Like, I still think their defense should be a lot better than what they showed. Like, they have a lot of talent on that defense, but bro, you're going against one of the most dynamic players in the NFL, in Josh Allen,
Yep.
who just completely took over a game. And you're back home here. I mean, I don't think Baltimore is invincible top to bottom. I think they're a very good team. And Cleveland, you know, I still think there's some stuff there for them. The Joe Flacco interceptions were ridiculous. Like, on paper, he threw a couple picks, but those, if you watch that game, both of those interceptions were catchable balls that the receivers went to the ground for, and literally as they were trying to make the catch, they basically threw it up to the defender. Both of them were damn near handoffs to the D-backs. And honestly, Cleveland probably wins that. Cleveland wins that game if their kicker was competent. Missed an extra point, and he missed a chip shot that would have won them the game. I think Cleveland is absolutely not going to be as bad as people initially thought, which is why, Brad, we were all over the Browns plus 5.5, plus 4.5. Talked about it last week, and we talked about it Sunday morning. We thought Cleveland was the sharp side, and turns out it was. I'm not rushing to bet this, but off the first glance here, I think 11.5 is probably where I'm going to go with Baltimore. Like, this is a statement here that I think they're going to come out ready to go. Derrick Henry, he's going to be motivated after a fumble that changed the game.
Yep.
Lamar played great. Zay Flowers played great.
Zay Flowers played real well.
Yeah. Outside of those two guys, though, there wasn't really, outside of Henry, Lamar, and Flowers, like, nobody else really stood out to me on that offense. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to work through. But Cleveland did a great job in holding down Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. But I want to see a little bit more movement. So it's nothing official. Early midweek look. Baltimore minus 11.5. I don't know if I'm rushing to bet any props either, but the problem is there's not many being offered right now. So that's unfortunately the thing that happens when it comes to, being this early in the week, I'm sure more props will start coming out tomorrow. Typically, like Wednesday night, and Thursdays is when universally player props are coming out. But maybe something along the lines of a Derrick Henry rushing yards. Didn't give him
Yeah.
the ball a ton. Maybe comes back with a vengeance here.
Yeah, I think this is like they know this turns into a must win, right? Because for them, it's not necessarily about winning the division; it's getting the number one overall seed.
Yeah.
That's what you want, the easiest path, right?
I think also you're the Ravens. You're looking at this. Like the schedule's tough, man. And I'm not saying the Ravens are going to lose. The Ravens, and it's not must win, but like the Ravens kind of need to win. You lose to Buffalo in excruciating fashion, which it's not only a loss, but it's a loss against a team that very well could be the 1 seed, and that could be the tiebreaker. And they now no longer have a tiebreaker. They're going to play Detroit next week in Baltimore. And then the following week, they got to go to Kansas City. Then they got to come home and play the Texans. Then they got to go or stay home, and they're going to play the Rams. Now, there's a lot of winnable games there, but those aren't pushover teams. So I feel like Baltimore needs to come out and make a strong impression and, not just for perception, but internally be like, all right, we got to get back on track, got to get back to business.
Yep. Agreed on all fronts there.
All right. Rams at the Titans, Brad. 5.5 LAR. Where are you feeling with the this one?
Man, this was a tough one for me because the Rams weren't spectacular. They did they get away with cheating, right? Like Matthew Stafford, 240 yards, 245 yards, 21 for 19. Kyren Williams didn't really run the ball effectively, but now they kind of play in a game where you're like, are we licking our chops here or are we licking our chops here? Because even though statistically it was a god awful game for the Titans, you have to say if we can put up the same kind of performance that we did defensively against CJ Stroud and the Texans, we certainly can do the same against the Titans. Once again, I lean the favorite here. I just feel like Cam Ward, regardless of how spectacular he'll be in his career, he needs more help.
So I'm going on an opposite side here. I'm going with the Titans. And listen, I'm high on them coming into this year. They played a hell of a game on defense in Denver.
They did.
Cam Ward's debut. I hope a lot of you watched it and didn't just read the box score. Cam Ward played much better than what his box score said. There was a lot of drops, and some of those drops could have went for big time gains. And there was an opportunity for Tennessee to win that ball game. Their defense was fantastic. That's a tough place to play in Denver, upstart Broncos team. Number 1 defense. They got an up-and-coming quarterback with some weapons, Sean Payton, and it was a great performance. The Rams, I wasn't impressed with either. Like I was on the Texans last week. Their defense held them down. I mean, if you told me that Texans defense was going to hold the Rams to 14 points, I would have said not only are they going to cover a field goal number as a dog, but they're going to win outright. I mean, I think the Rams got away with it because, like, we know fumbles are fluky. Fumbles are very variance-filled, fluky occurrences, and there was basically a peanut punch against the Texans on what could have been a game-winning drive.
Yep.
And listen, I think the Rams are a good team. Don't get me wrong. And I went against them last week, and maybe it burns me again, but I just feel like Tennessee got that out of the way with Denver. Like Denver is a way better defense than LA. LA's got players, no doubt. But I just love what Cam Ward did, man. There was a lot of intangibles, and you could just see that this kid is poised. He's mature. Everything he was at Miami, this guy is capable of handling a situation like this where maybe he doesn't have some of the talent around him, say a Caleb Williams did last year.
Yep.
But he's good enough to overcome that. I think the Titans at home getting 5.5 is a little bit too much, in my opinion. I'm not saying they win this game, but I think they could keep this one close. If that defense plays the way it did last week, Matthew Stafford, not mobile. Like the Titans defense isn't as good as Houston's, But if you saw the way they played in week 1, and I think that's kind of going to be their mentality going forward, they played fast. They played physical. Jeffrey Simmons was a game wrecker. I think a lot of that same type of play can happen. Now, granted, the Tennessee defense doesn't put up the same numbers as Houston did last year, but I got to be honest, man. I don't know if the numbers do it justice. Like, for instance, the Tennessee offense or the Tennessee defense last year, I mean, they were one of the worst against the runs. One of the worst against the run. Now, Denver on paper averaged 5 yards carry, 30 carries for 150 yards, Brad. But a lot of that was inflated because RJ Harvey had a 50-yard run. Most of the game, they were bottled up.
Yeah.
Like, nobody did anything on the ground except for RJ Harvey's 50-yard run. So I feel like they're going to be able to kind of repeat what Houston did last week, hold Kyron in check. I actually think, Kyron's at 78.5 yards right now. It's not up everywhere. I just think MGM right now. I think that's another good play for the under as well. Jeffrey Simmons continue to wreck the game. But I feel like Tennessee's going to keep this close. That Houston defense showed a lot of things where, Puka could get his. Fine. But can you bend, not break like last week in the red zone is the big thing for me with this Tennessee defense. And I got to be honest. I think if the Titans defense can hold the Rams to under 21 points, there's a very high chance that they're going to cover the spread. And I think that could happen.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's totally fair enough. I'm interested to see what this line ends up doing ultimately, like where it moves to. Because I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a pro Ram side where more money's going to come on the Rams than the Titans after that first performance. But like I said it in the opening, right? Remember, like there's some overreactions that are taken just solely looking at metrics. That Titans played a freaking dang good game, but they ended up covering the opening line. When it got to 8.5, 9, that was like insane.
Yeah. They covered the close. Also, like, not for nothing, but the 5.5 at home not being a key number, I'm not in a rush to bet Tennessee because I want to see if more money comes in on LA and this moves out to 6, maybe even 6.5 over the next 3 or 4 days. So I think Tennessee's in the back of my, and listen, if this comes down to 5 and we know the wind is blowing in Tennessee's direction, then, maybe then I'll pull the trigger. But I'm cool with waiting a couple days on this one, Brad, because like I said, this line might get bigger. And then if you're getting Tennessee at a flat key number of 6, that's something that I'm definitely going to be
6,
looking at.
I think 6 becomes a little sketchy. 5's clear. It's 5.5, 6. You get through 6, then you're definitely dancing with the Titans just on key numbers, right?
But prop wise, I think Kyron's staying under now 78.5 yards. Again, it's only on MGM as far as I've seen. I think that's a solid play for the under there as well.
I have no prop angles for this game. I may take some these numbers aren't going to be out yet, but I may take some sack props in this game.
You love sack props.
They're fun.
The next game is a revenge spot, Chicago at Detroit. This was 5.5 yesterday. This is now ballooned to 6.5. I think this is the most public Joe spot of the week, taking the Lions with the spread. And Brad, I'm going to tell you why. So I love when these like nuggets come out. So there was something I saw yesterday that in the Dan Campbell era, or maybe in the last couple years, they're 10-0 against the spread off a loss. Like something along those lines. That's the most trap nonsense I've ever heard. Because first of all, I told you last week, the reason I picked Packers is because I don't think, despite all the talent remaining the same from last year, that the Lions were just going to pick up from where they were last year without Ben Johnson. And I don't think one game is going to solve that. I think it's going to take a little while for them to get in that groove. And I recall multiple instances, but for me personally, somebody that grew up a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan, I remember after Kyle Shanahan left after the 2016 season, when Atlanta's offense was, no joke, a legit top 10 offense of all time, statistically ranked as top 10. He leaves, Sark comes in. The offense was a mess. It never really even got anywhere close to that 2016 level, but like it got serviceable throughout the year. 2018, it got a little bit better, but there was a lot, and I mean a lot of growing pains. It took a while for them to start getting back to a place where, hey, this is a legitimate offense again. And by the way, it included like Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, being able to do the things they were able to do. But Detroit, I feel like, it's in that same boat. Like, yeah, you have the same players. You have a lot of the same plays. You have a lot of the same pre-snap reads and the same motions and the same audibles and all that stuff. But it doesn't just pick up right away. And now Ben Johnson's got an advantage because he knows this organization inside and out. And I understand Chicago fell flat after the opening drive where they looked so good. But Minnesota's defense is really good. And that's why I was on the Vikings on Monday night, because I thought their defense was going to be the difference. And honestly, their defense kept them in the game. I feel like ultimately Chicago getting 6.5 is way too much. This line might move more. This was a royal mint spot, Brad, yesterday. I think Chicago is definitely live in this game, but getting 6.5 is, in my opinion, is a little ridiculous.
I'm worried for the Chicago Bears. They still have, first let's talk about defensively. They still have secondary issues. Defense looked better this year than it did last year in game one. They still have issues in the secondary just based on health and availability.
Was Jalen Johnson going to be back?
It's questionable still. Questionable still.
Okay. He had it was a hammy or a groin?
I think it was groin.
Okay.
Their running game is non-existent. I don't know what happened. Maybe we can attribute it to how great the Vikings defensive line was. But their running game, their offensive line got pushed around in that game. If you're letting the Detroit Lions dictate terms on the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a long night, because I don't think they can just drop back and say, Caleb Williams, you're going to create. He had some location issues. He was lethal with his legs, but also had some poor decision making. I'm not betting this game yet, but I just am really afraid of this. Could be one of those where Ben Johnson is not getting the welcome back that he wants.
No, he won't. But DeAndre Swift, another revenge spot as well. But
DeAndre Swift can't find a hole if it was the size of the freaking ocean, man. I don't know why, dude. I don't know why. He's got so much talent.
Yeah, well, look, Minnesota had a top 5 run defense last year, and Detroit's was top 2 as well.
Yep.
But that was, I think a lot of that can also be contributed to Detroit getting a lead on teams a lot of the times, and then forcing opponents to have to throw the ball. So I mean, I don't know if I truly buy Detroit being like a top 3 run defense. When you really break it down, like, them playing with a lead so often last year definitely contributes to that. Same sort of way Baltimore had. Like, Baltimore played with a lot of leads. Baltimore historically, though, has always had a really good run defense. But
yeah,
I don't know, dude, 6.5 in a divisional game. Like, what have the Lions done that you're confident, even at home, in laying this number? Because it's not last year.
No,
it's not 2024. And look, it might get to 7. Who knows? But and look, I still think Caleb Williams has a lot of developing to do. Like Ben Johnson instituting his offense and making things work how they did in Detroit. If it ever happens, it's going to take some time as well. But if Jalen Johnson plays, that's obviously a big welcome back. But I still think Caleb Williams is special enough to make some plays here to make this happen. I don't understand the 6.5. I think Detroit could end up being like one of the most Joe spots of the week. And listen, maybe I'm wrong, and so be it. But this is just how I'm handicapping. Like, I don't think Detroit right now is 6.5 points better. I think people, even on a short week with Chicago, like I think a lot of people have biases because the Bears blew the game and they lost to a rookie quarterback, or not rookie, but a quarterback making his first start. But like he was going against a really good defense, a defense that is legitimately top 5 in the NFL in Minnesota, and also a team that was already gelling from last year. Like Detroit, I think losing both coordinators, to me, it could be a little while before the Lions really kind of get back to where they were last season. Again, the lines are the props. I don't understand why so many are just so slow, but there's not a full boat of props here in this one off the bat. So make sure you check back here.
Listen, I'm not off of the Bears this season yet, right? Like I'm not off of them yet. I just will say that. I think that was hoping they got that Minnesota game. They didn't. They just got to get past this game, and I think it'll be clear skies.
It's going to turn around for them. It's not doom and gloom. It's just, recognizing that it doesn't always pick up as quickly as you think it's going to.
Yes.
And that is the truth, man. It's sports. Like these are the best players in the world at their sport.
Yep.
But they're still human. It still takes time to gel. Buffalo Bills 6.5 at the Jets. This line tightened up a little bit, down from 7. Brad, I don't really have a strong opinion in this one. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a lot of betting it. I really loved what I saw from Justin Fields, though.
Yeah, man.
I've always been a Justin Fields supporter. I just felt like he never really was put in the right situation in order to succeed. And then when he finally did, he got the boot. That being said, do you think this is a letdown spot for Buffalo after an emotional comeback
win?
It's
got to be a letdown spot. I think there's a lot of emotion that was in that game as well. I think that I was really worried too. Even though they got the win, I was really worried with how bad their run defense was. I was also really worried. I think I'm overall worried for this Bills defense as a whole. I know the Bills are going to want to get better pass rush. It's hard to get a good pass rush on a guy like Lamar Jackson, but so much emotion in that win. Feels like a letdown spot. And I feel like Breece Hall, they made a conservative effort to run the ball with Breece Hall. I thought that can be duplicated and replicated against a team who now it's stemming from last season is struggling against the run.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Side to side. What do you think about Justin Fields' rushing prop right now? So from what I can see, there are only, bear with me. Where did it go? It was just here. Oh, there it is. There's only one spot open that has a rush prop for Fields. That's MGM. MGM's done a really good job of getting all their numbers out, by the way.
Hell yeah.
42.5 is the rush total. I mean, after what Lamar did, and I think this is what the Jets are going to be. I think they're going to be, for the most part, a run-first football team. Fields is going to be a big part of that. And Lamar was just finding gaping holes left and right when he wanted to pull the ball down. And granted, a lot of it is built off Derrick Henry. And there's only one Derrick Henry. And that changes the way you have to defend. But let's think about it this way. And it's baked into the line. But if Buffalo's a 6.5 point lead, that means the Jets are supposed to be playing from behind.
Yeah.
Which means they could be doing a lot of dropping back. But Fields is no stranger to pulling the ball down and running. Is 42.5 too high?
I think it's correct. I think that number is pretty accurate in the 40s.
Ran for 48 last week, by the way.
Yeah, he did. I would be interested in. I would be interested in his longest rushing attempt.
Okay.
I think he will break one. It's set at 13.5. I think 14 is probably like a perfect number for longest rushing attempt for a quarterback. Lamar Jackson was 12. Lamar Jackson, I took his, was 12.5.
13.5 for Fields right now on
Yeah,
DK.
Lamar Jackson was 12.5. He hit that. I had a write-up for Lamar Jackson, and I think it applies for Justin Fields as well. Basically, I essentially went with the thought process of when you're playing a lot of man coverage, just you're gonna play a lot of man, and then you throw in a blitz. If you blitz with the man, those rush lanes are massive, and it happened with Lamar Jackson. I think it could happen with Justin Fields.
Yeah. I think the longest rush prop is solid at 13.5. I mean, Fields is definitely capable of breaking them. I mean, he did a good job of explaining how that can happen with the man-to-man coverage and the rush lanes, but also the design runs. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Fields is going to have a handful of design runs, and I don't think it's going to be a fluke. I think this is just and based off what we're hearing, around the summer and coming into the season. They're going to make a concerted effort to be running the ball a lot, and that's going to include Fields. And it was on display in a shootout against the Steelers. He ran the ball 12 times. So, I mean, to be honest, look, I think there's a very possible scenario where this could play out, where Fields right now is rushing prop is 42.5 in week 2. Wherever it closes.
Yeah.
Longest rush prop 13.5. I mean, that can vary, but the rushing yards is 42.5 right now. In a few weeks, if we're seeing Fields get like 10 to 15 carries a game on average and like really getting design runs and making an effort to run the ball, 42.5, Brad, in a certain matchup can end up being in the low 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, we might be able to get the early part of the season where, hey, we still don't know if Justin Fields is actually going to be running the ball as much as the Jets have led on.
Yep.
So we're going to make it a little bit lower.
I think that man, I had a bit on his rushing. No, I didn't bet it, but I had a thought process on his rushing attempts, and I can't find it anymore. I can't remember what the number is. I thought it was a little high. I think it was 9.5. Felt a little high to me.
I'd probably look at betting the over 42.5. I like the longest rush as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little risky taking 2 rushing props on the same
Very risky.
person.
The guy runs like 3 times, and you're like, what the frick?
Exactly. But I would consider taking both in this one. I'd probably lean the longest rush a little bit more than the yards because the longest rush can happen in one shot. But I do like them both. All right, Brad. Giants Dallas. This is none other than a Royal Mint spot for the New York Giants currently at 5.5. I don't care if it's a Royal Mint spot. There have been very, very few occasions where I've turned down a Royal Mint spot. This is going to be one of them. I'm not betting on Russell Wilson ever. I learned my lesson week 1. I thought the Giants were going to be better. Not even better, just serviceable, which is, in fact, all they had to be. Their offense just had to score 1 touchdown, and they probably would have covered the 6.5. Like 1 touchdown, they would have had to score. I'm not of the belief that this is a NFL level starter anymore.
No,
not that I really ever was.
No,
but
I think they're trying to wait 4 weeks. Please give us 4 weeks so we can just get him up to speed, right? Just get Jackson Dart up to speed. Yeah. It's a shame, man. It's a shame because their defense played really good, right?
It did.
And it just couldn't come to fruition. The Cowboys' run defense looked really good last week. That's where I think the Cowboys are going to be able to win this game. It's a pass for me, but there's no way you can convince me. It would take something really. You have to make a really big statement for me to be on the Giants. I just can't. I just don't think their defense is going to be able to compensate for their offensive inefficiencies.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, buddy.
Bad.
I don't think so. It's Cowboys or pass for me. I probably won't even touch this game. Maybe like a CD Lamb prop. Lamb had a really big game. Might go back to the well with him once the numbers come out. It's frustrating because we're doing this on Wednesday, but luckily, Sunday we do a show where we discuss, and unfortunately, some of the lines might get steamed by that point. But there's an 80.5 on BetMGM. I would look at and consider taking Lamb on the over. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of Lamb overs this year. I think it's only a matter of time until his numbers like routinely starting at 90, 95.5 every week.
Yeah.
I think even against a solid Giants defense that played pretty solid last week overall, Lamb is somebody that I'm going to be looking to bet more times than not. Their secondary can be had. Their secondary is the weaker part of their defense. So I think Lamb 80.5 yards.
That's solid with me.
I think Lamb's honestly a ladder play too. I think Lamb 100 yards is something that I would consider.
Yeah, Lamb or Pickens, one of them is going to go off. And I don't know if I would be pro Pickens. I think Pickens might come down to if he's getting that one deep ball, right? Like it could be just totally deep ball dependent for Pickens. Like CD Lamb a lot. I like your look.
Yeah. All right. This game's an absolute mess. San Francisco -3 at New Orleans. Low total of 40.5. San Francisco was 6.5. Kittle news came out. He's out multiple weeks on the IR. Comes down to 4.5. Brock Purdy announcement comes out down to 3. Mac Jones. I'll be honest, dude. I really wasn't that impressed by San Francisco last week. I was on Seattle. I think you were as well.
I was on the Niners.
Oh, you're on the Niners?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think San Francisco got lucky to win that game.
They did.
Seattle had 25 chances to put that one away. Brock Purdy basically got lucky and just threw one up. And Tariq Woolen mistimed the jump, I should say. The third string tight end who never caught a pass coming into that game caught the touchdown. And even before that, I mean, Seattle had 4th and 1, I think, at like the Niners 28-yard line, 30-yard line, something like that, in a tie game with 3 minutes to go. And instead of sacking up and going for it and trying to bleed the clock and go for the kill, they took the field goal, and then their defense let up the big plays. And like, listen, you're going to look at it and say, well, Seattle's defense, they allowed 20 or less points. They played good. I'll be honest, I don't think they played that well. There was a lot of drives they couldn't get off the field. They were allowing a lot of third downs, penalties, wasn't clean. Like on the scoreboard, they played well, but I don't think they played the level of defense that they would be expecting. And it's weird because I still think they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of playmakers. So I'm not really sure what the issue is. But ultimately, I think San Francisco got lucky. JSN dog walked them.
Yeah, I think it was a weird game. I think it was like, there's one of those situations where you let a team like the 49ers hang around. You just don't want them to hang around. You got to close the door on them. I was lucky to pick that up. McCaffrey looked solid, though. I will say that.
Yeah, McCaffrey looked good coming off the injury. They always use him a lot, but in his first game back, I thought they were probably going to ease up a little bit on the workload. They did not. But McCaffrey looked good. Ricky Pearsall looked like a stud.
He did.
I think, honestly, Brad, I'm probably not going to touch this game, but it'd probably be Niners or pass for me laying the 3 even on the road because Mac Jones is going to be starting. And even though Mac Jones isn't a world beater, like he at this point in his career is a veteran. He's got a handful of starts under his belt from his time in New England. He got some action in Jacksonville. New Orleans is still projected to be a bad team. I still think they are a bad team. There's some bright spots, but again, sort of like Seattle, Arizona had a chance to put away New Orleans.
Yeah.
They let them hang around. And honestly, Arizona got lucky probably to win that game. But I think San Francisco is not going to be playing around in this one. I think 3 points, even with Mac Jones, you still got McCaffrey, you still got Pearsall, still got a decent defense, and you got Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to be up to the task here in this one. Maybe I'm wrong, but it will be a Niners or pass for me.
Yeah, Niners or pass. Man, I'm questioning Kellen Moore's approach offensively for the Saints, right? Still a lot of question marks. Yeah, let's just get moved to the next game. This is a gross game.
All right, New England at Miami down here in South Florida. Dolphins are a favorite. I don't think they should be a favorite against damn near anybody. And again, we talked about this in the weeks leading up to the season. We talked about it last week. I like the Colts, and it's not because Miami doesn't have talent.
Yeah.
Individually, they do. Why did I not like the Dolphins coming into this year, Brad? Effort level. I don't think they give a fuck, quite frankly.
They don't, bro.
I think all they care about is getting paid and getting laid and living in South Florida, living in Miami. And
It's so bad.
It showed that in week one. It showed that in week one. They lost by almost 30. They were getting blown out and shut out for 95% of the game.
Dude,
I think a mutiny's coming. I think Mike McDaniel is going to be the first coach fired.
It was a horrible effort, and no one was running hard on either side of the ball. It was horrible. Now they play against a Patriots team who are going to be a little hungry because they had their chances against Las Vegas. Like, they had every opportunity to make this be a 1-0 great start for the Vrabel era. They're going to be hungry. And what's going to be my interesting spot about this game is what I really want to pay attention to is how the Patriots D-line handles the bad rushing attack for Miami, because I don't think the Dolphins know how to run the ball. But at the beginning of the game, Ashton Jeanty was ripping it like 7 yards at a time, made adjustments, and they basically shut him down outside for that touchdown run.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think that's going to be the biggest winning spot for the Patriots.
So,
but I will say this. I need to say this. If the Dolphins tried, they're going to win this game by double digits, because that home field advantage middle of the day against the Patriots is so unfair.
I was just about to bring that up. The only advantage Miami has, in my opinion, because the reason why I bet the Colts last week was because Miami, you cannot quantify effort level. Like, that's not, you just cannot quantify that in a handicap.
Yep.
In terms of saying, well, Miami run defense can do this, or pass defense can do that, or their run game can get after the Colts XYZ. Like that, you can really analyze and break down.
Yeah.
You can't do that with effort level. I didn't think they were going to show up last week, and I was right. And I think it's the same thing here. I don't think they're all of a sudden just going to pick it up. I feel like all of them have quit on Mike McDaniel. I feel like they don't buy into what he's saying. The only advantage, in my opinion, that Miami has is the elements. So, Brad, as you know, September has been and is usually a rainy month down here. We're both in South Florida. Yeah. Well, I'm in South Florida. You're in Orlando, but it's been raining nonstop down here. It rains every goddamn day. And it's still like 85 to 90 degrees. Humidity, rain. It's projected to rain on Sunday again, like it does every day. And it's going to reach a high of 87. We've seen teams in the past travel to Miami in September when the humidity is brutal and the heat is high.
Yep.
And they have been gassed in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, because of it. Because Miami, what they do, they take the side with the shade. And the away team is forced to be in the sun. And it drains them. I remember I saw Josh Allen a couple of years ago in that game in Miami where I think they lost when the Bills came down here. And they lost that game, and he looked like he was about to pass out. He looked like he was so dehydrated.
Yeah, he did.
So that's the only advantage, in my opinion, that Miami has in this one. But I feel like New England's going to come ready to play. I'm not dying to bet it. I think it's a New England or pass spot for me. To be honest, I can't buy Miami, dude. I'm honestly, I wish there was a market for first coach to be fired. If you have one, throw it in the chat here, because I think McDaniel is going to be first.
I was at Pat's at Dolphins last year, and It looked like the Patriots were so freaking hot, bro.
That's the only. I mean, listen, maybe like something along the lines of like a second half under, or the 43 and a half's a little light. Like
Yeah.
New England didn't play a terrible game against Vegas. Vegas, we felt like was going to come in hungry, ready to play. The Patriots are hungry. The weather is the only thing I think that could stop them in this one. All right, let's get to a potential shootout here. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Brad, did you buy the Jags week 1 win against Carolina, or are you kind of chalking it up to, hey, they played the Panthers? I want to wait and see what they do against the team.
I'm a big wait and see.
Yeah.
I thought the Panthers shot themselves in the foot. Bad play calling, bad execution. They just went out there and got destroyed.
I think ultimately here, I'm same sort of sentiment. I picked the Panthers because I didn't buy all the hype on Jacksonville just yet. Again, wait and see. I don't think the Jaguars played a flawless game. Bryce Young made a lot of bad decisions, and the Carolina defense is, numerically
horrible.
The worst defense against the pass, against the run.
Dude, I tried so hard to take advantage of how bad the Panthers defense was, and I couldn't figure out how. And I'm kicking myself because it was so obvious.
Yeah. For me, I don't know right now. I want to lean Bengals, but like the Bengals every year, man, weeks 1 and 2, they look like shit. I mean, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm on an under here, 49 and a half. Maybe that's a bit too high. I don't really have anything super strong at the moment, because I'm not necessarily buying Jacksonville, but I know Cincinnati is a slow starter, and I'm not sure that they're going to show up ready to play in this one. I think the only thing that I'd really be looking at right now is a under 49 and a half. I think that can end up probably closing somewhere around 48 and a half, move down a full point before game time. Matchup wise, this is Cincinnati's game. Matchup wise, I think they take it to I think they take it to Jacksonville. But
yeah.
Again, I'm not rushing to bet it. I think this is going to be a good film study. Like watching this game, what does each team do that maybe stands out, good or bad?
Yeah. Yeah, it needs a big response from the Bengals. I think Jamar Chase has a better game. Like, we got to remember, this is still not a good Jacksonville Jaguars defense, right? Like, still a lot of room for improvement on that team.
Maybe Chase gets in the end zone here, makes amends. I mean, Jacksonville's defense was really, really struggling last year against wide receivers, and they just so happen to be going up against arguably the best receiver in the game. Yeah. Chase is minus 135 to get in the end zone. I think that's solid. I think that's something that's definitely worth consideration. Chase Brown, dude, I think Chase Brown is going to be eating this year.
Yeah.
I think Chase Brown is going to eat this year. He's minus 150. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of those type of numbers and bigger against Chase Brown. Jacksonville's defense allowed 16 rushing touchdowns last year, which was the 5th most. So maybe Brown's interesting in a parlay, or if you just want to lay that straight. But that's over on DK. Brad, since Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're getting 3 points here. Do you think Seattle bounces back?
Wait, the better question is, do I think that this offense is going to be legit with the Steelers? I don't think so. I think there's plenty of opportunities for the Pittsburgh Steelers to bounce back. I mean, for the Seattle Seahawks to bounce back. Away from home, though, halfway across the country, I think it's just a travel spot, which is smart for the Steelers. I think you take the Steelers -3, even though I don't think it's going to be an Aaron Rodgers 4-touchdown performance again.
I think this is a Pittsburgh regression spot. Rodgers comes out blazing in a revenge spot against the Jets. Steelers defense did not look good whatsoever. And I realize, the Jets, it's a little bit different, their style of play. I'm still buying Seattle. I didn't love what I saw from them in week 1, but I love what I saw from JSN.
Yeah.
Love what I
Jason
saw.
looked really good.
We're all over the breakout for this year. Lead the league in catches 20-1. I really like JSN. I think the defense is going to play better. I'm of the belief that maybe Pittsburgh is going to regress in this spot. Catching 3, I understand the travel spot is difficult here coming down from the Great Northwest to Pittsburgh, but I think they're going to travel in this one. I think they have a good chance of winning, but I'm going to take the 3.
That's fair.
I got to be honest. I think this could be another low scoring game.
I want to add this. I want to add the Aaron Rodgers had one of the worst PFF quarterback grades despite throwing for 4 touchdowns. I thought that was pretty funny. That, like, although his numbers were great, he wasn't actually that great.
Yeah, I don't really follow that. But every week, dude, I'm gonna be looking at Jason's catches every week. I mean, it's just I think this is a guy that's gonna have a real shot to lead the league in catches. You heard me say it in the preseason. I don't think it's a fluke. I think this is really who he's going to be. JSN looked fantastic. So if I'm looking at betting a prop, and when it comes out, I'll probably end up looking at the JSN receptions. And to be honest, we're struggling here getting the numbers. They're not in yet. There was 4.5, which we gave out last week. That was a smash spot. That was super easy. I think maybe, it's not going to take that long for the books to start setting the lines at 5.5 to 6.5.
Yeah.
In the interim.
They're going to be high.
I'd probably be on JSN over 5.5. Starts getting to 6.5, then I might pull back a little bit. But if JSN's reception number's 5.5 this week, I'm probably going to take the over. Because I just think he's going to be getting 10 to 12 targets a game.
Yeah.
I think that's how it is. And if you're giving me 10 to 12 targets a game for a wide receiver, I'm probably going to be taking his over catches most of the time.
That's fair.
All right. Denver Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, this is 2.5. What was the line movement on this one? This one was down to 2.5. The Colts impressed. But was it like the Colts just playing a lifeless body?
I think it was.
Or is it the Colts team? Is the Colts team for real? I don't know if I can go that far. I like Denver. I don't know, though. I might just take Denver money line because after what I saw week 1, they're going to have some issues. But I just not 100% sold on Danny Dimes' experience. I like Denver -1. I mean, money line, but I'm at the -2.5. I can pass for now.
Yeah, I like Denver to win this game. I think their defense travels, dude. Their defense is so good. Their defense is the truth. And Bo Nix played a bad game. Pretty much the whole offense, for the most part, outside of like Courtland Sutton, played a bad game. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to play a lot cleaner. I don't think Indianapolis is this juggernaut. I think they played a lifeless body in Miami, and it showed. The Broncos, though, they're going to be a much stiffer test for this Colts team. I would probably take the money line. The one thing I'm curious about, what's Evan Ingram's status? I know he left the game early with the calf injury. Is he going to play? Is he not? Even without him, it's not going to make a difference in my handicap. I mean, Evan Ingram would be just one more reason why I take them, but my cap on taking Denver in this one is not based on Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I just feel like this is the best defense in the league so far. This season will be the best defense in the league. Was the best defense last season. We have to remember, like, this is Danny Dimes, who just kind of played a team that was giving him wide open passing lanes. Like, if you look, like, Tyler Warren early in the game balled out, Jonathan Taylor balled out. I think it's gonna be different, and I think they're gonna say Danny Dimes are gonna be able to beat us through the air, which I don't know. I like the Broncos money line, but I just feel like maybe it's just I'm taking the -2.5. I'll take the -2.5. All right, I'll take the Broncos -2.5 right now because I think I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but I think it's a good bet there.
I got to be honest, man. In certain situations, I get it. I think they're going to cover the spread, but certain situations, like say just on FanDuel, money line for Denver is -124. Taking them -2.5 is -102. $22 difference. Just lay the extra $22. If you're $100 is your unit and you're going to lay 124 to win 100 or 102 to win 100, just lay the extra $22. Don't even worry about the point spread.
Yep.
Carolina at 6.5 at Arizona, second week in a row. They are a 6.5 point favorite. They play much better at home. That is their thing, and they are at home. I think this is an Arizona spot, one-way traffic all day.
Arizona win this cover, win by maybe 24. Listen, I was on Panthers in a teaser. I will never, ever forgive the Panthers for scoring and being close to covering the teaser and then just forgetting how to play defense on that final drive. It was like they never had defended in their lives. I was like, we have one drive. All you have to do is just force a punt. The Jags weren't even trying at that point. Shout out to Marv getting in the end zone, Maserati Marv.
Yep.
James Conner looked like he's drinking from Fountain Youth, getting Trey Benson involved defensively, got some hitters on that team. Yeah, I think the Panthers are in trouble, man. I think the Panthers could be vying for that number 1 overall pick and replacing Bryce Young.
Yeah. I think this is all Carolina. So luckily we have some props out for James Conner and some rush yards. Ultimately, I like James Conner to go nuts here. So again, shop around, guys, because it's very, very important to get the best of the number. I did my RotoWire video last night on player props. James Conner on MGM was 59.5 with his total. It's moved up to 60. I'm fine with it. I think, and listen, like the good thing about betting on the spread and using that information, like if you're going off based on what's projected, Arizona's projected to win by 7 points.
Yeah.
Right? They're playing to that number where they should be winning by 7 points or 6 points, which means they should be playing from a lead, which means they could be doing a lot of running in the second half. So I think Connor, even though he wasn't efficient against New Orleans, Carolina is a run funnel. They're a pass funnel. They're a funnel for everything. So if it plays out that way, but even still, I think he's gonna get probably about 15 plus carries. James Conner, 60.5 rush yards is still an overplay for me. I think this is a ladder candidate. I'd probably be looking at him at 70 yards, 80 yards, maybe 90 yards, and maybe a sprinkle on 100 yards. I think this is a James Conner smash spot. It's going to be a big one for him, and I like his over.
It's going to be. Let me just tell you, both running backs are going to go over in this game.
Benson
They're going to set Trey Benson's rushing yards to around 25.5, 28.5. He's going to go over as well.
I agree. I think this is going to be a day where they go absolutely berserk. There was another prop I liked in this one, also on my video. Give me a little sneak peek here. Passing tutties, Kyler Murray is 1.5. Steam's coming in on the under. I like them to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I know it's a little variant, but in order for them to get to that lead, I think they're going to be passing the ball. I think first half, maybe first 2.5 quarters, they're going to come out firing. And I think, quite frankly, over 1.5 at plus money is fair. I think it's fair. And I understand, like, if Arizona just goes nuts on the ground. Totally get it. But plus money in this matchup against this defense at home, after they kind of let New Orleans hang around a little bit, I think Kyler Murray's good for a double dip here on Tutty.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think the reason that people are probably taking the under there is because you think about when they get to the red zone, this doggone run defense is so bad they can just waltz right in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, listen, dude, I completely understand it. I really do. But this is a bad pass defense too. I think Maserati Marv could be live here to get in the end zone, which, by the way, is plus 140. But James Conner is probably going to be one of the most sought after touchdown pieces for your parlays this week. I think my man gets in.
Yeah.
Looking for a little long shot. Trey Benson is plus 340.
Don't tease me.
Super Bowl rematch here. Philadelphia is a short favorite in Kansas City. Brad, are you going with the defending Super Bowl champions or Kansas City at home in a rebound spot?
My God. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think them losing Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy is going to be big. The Chiefs were in a weird game where that first half they came out so flat. I think they're going to be better defensively, which was the issue. I also didn't think that the Eagles played that great. I think the Eagles probably should have lost that game to the Cowboys. You play like that, especially in the secondary, you're in trouble. You're going to absolutely in trouble.
Nothing official yet. This is a tough game for me to pick because also like what's going on with Jalen Carter? Is he suspended?
Yeah, it's been a one game.
Okay, so he's going to miss this game. Kansas City, no Xavier Worthy. I probably lean Kansas City here slightly on this Wednesday. Like my opinion will probably change. I got to be honest. I don't see this line moving too much between now and kickoff. I think it's going to stay around like 1.5. But ultimately, I like Kansas City at home here. I don't think they played particularly well down in Brazil, but it's still Mahomes. I don't think the Eagles looked really that great either,
The Eagles
as you
without
mentioned.
Jalen Carter, like their run defense is just a big hole.
Exactly. So we saw Javonte Williams rip off a couple runs. I think Kansas City could run the ball without Jalen Carter up the middle. So I feel like the Chiefs are going to have success there, and I think Mahomes is gonna be hungry for a much better performance than he had in the Super Bowl against this team.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Minnesota, Sunday night battle of former national championship starting quarterbacks. Michael Penix in Atlanta at Minnesota and JJ McCarthy. Short week, Minnesota at home. I don't know what it is, man. Atlanta has like historically always struggled against Minnesota. I think they've only got like one win in their last like 5 matchups. But 3 and a hook. I love Penix. I really do. Love Bijan. Drake London looks like he should be good to go. The Atlanta defense is not good. I mean, they played pretty well front seven wise against Tampa last week.
Yeah.
Give them credit. I feel like at home with this defense, Minnesota is a spot here against Atlanta. I'd probably be looking to take the Vikings on the spread.
There was this talk that the Atlanta Falcons had reshaped their defense. And I guess in the front seven, it did, right? It looked good. Baker was kind of struggling. Run game for the Bucks couldn't get going. But on the back end, they allowed way too many big plays. I think that I think the Minnesota Vikings should be able to take advantage of that. JJ McCarthy grew into that game. You know, there were nerves in that game. He grew into that game. That said, with the Minnesota Vikings playing the too high a lot, they play too high, they go man too high, man shell, whatever. That just makes me think that this is going to be a fun game for Mr. Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson is going to be the one because you saw what happened when who's famous for playing the too high, the Tampa 2, right? Tampa 2. Just like we did last week, bro, with Bijan. Bijan's going to go over again. I think Atlanta does enough to stay attached. I think the 3.5 is a good line. I like Atlanta there.
You taking Atlanta with the points?
Yeah.
I get it. I really do. But
And I'll say it's subject to change. My first thought is Atlanta. Even though I do think that JJ McCarthy will have his opportunities through the air.
I just think this defense is so good. They bring pressure. And I love Penix. Dude. Penix is him. I told you that, dude. He's got it. He was about to lead them to another game-winning drive. Like, he has it. Michael Penix is a dog. This is the guy that's going to be an MVP one day. He is him. But this defense is just creates so much pressure. And as soon as they shut down the run, Penix might be able to score a little bit. but that Atlanta defense was, and always will be a funnel. That's just the truth. And you're at home. I like Minnesota.
Fair enough.
Ultimately, that is where I'm going. I will say though, when the props come out, I'm be interested to see what Bijan Robinson's receiving props going to be. DeAndre Swift was getting peppered early on that Monday night game, and we saw the Falcons were making a concerted effort to get Bijan the ball by any means necessary. But Michael Penix was really running like a lot of those swing routes,
Yeah.
some of those dump offs. I mean, I think Bijan's going to be interesting for a receiving yards prop.
Yeah, big time. It's going to be my favorite play. I don't know what they're going to set at. I'm either going to do yards or receptions, but I think receptions is going to be like super juice. So I'll probably do yards.
Yeah. All right. Tampa Bay Bucks at Houston, a 2.5-point dog. Bradford. I'm riding with the Bucks once more.
Riding with the Bucks. I don't think this Texans team is going to be good. Like, I don't know how to say it. Not long term, but I don't think they're as good as we think they were going to be.
In the short term,
Outside of their defense is going to be good, right? I think the Bucks can hold up. I think the Bucks just ran into a really tough team that they consistently struggle with away from
it's a
home.
divisional foe.
Yeah,
You struggle against divisional
that's what
foes.
happens when you play on the road in your division. You're supposed to struggle, but at the end of the day, they got the job done.
You know, Tampa's defense shut down one of the top running backs in football. Bijan didn't do anything on the ground.
Yeah.
Outside of one sick early 50-yard receiving touchdown where Bijan put a move on a couple guys, he really didn't do that much. He was stymied in the ground game, which I think ultimately could happen. Vita Vea is primed to eat. I think the Texans just lost their center too. I think the Texans just lost one of their key interior linemen.
Yep.
I will confirm that here momentarily. Ashbet. Oh, wow, this is pretty cool. Not seeing anything. Wait a minute. Jake Andrews. Jake Andrews dealing with some injuries. Ed Ingram's a guard. He's dealing with injuries. By the way, if you click on ESPN and you click on a game matchup,
Yeah.
it puts your team against your opponent's team in here, which is pretty cool when you're logged in. But yeah, I think Tampa's going to get it done. And listen, I think Houston's defense can like hold them down a little bit, sort of what they did with LA. But I don't think it's going to be enough for Houston. I think their offense is an issue. I don't know what the hell happened to CJ Stroud. Ever since his rookie year, he's been regressing. I'm not really sure what's going on. Like Nico Collins is still a dog, but I think some of it has to do like no Tank Dell to stretch the field. They don't really have a legitimate number two. I don't know what's going on with Christian Kirk, but this is a very, very limited offense outside of Nico Collins. Woody Marks didn't get involved. I wonder if that changes this week. Nick Chubb, I think could still do some good things, but Tampa's run defense, I think, is going to be ready to play. I like the Bucks here, man. I think this is a spot for Tampa to win another game here and get to 2-0.
Tampa Bay was backs against the wall and got the job done. Grizzard, I think he's going to have his growing pains, but he called a pretty clean game, right? He didn't put Baker in any bad situation, moved the chains when they needed to, scored when they needed to. I was expecting a little bit more from the people that they rave what they call him, offensive genius, but he got the win, right? First game as an offensive coordinator, first game calling plays ever. Fair.
Yeah, Houston's kind of lost their luster a little bit in terms of a team that's like ready to run with the big boys in the AFC. At least for right now. Their defense is legit, no doubt about it. I haven't given up on CJ Stroud, but until this kid shows me some legitimate signs of life as the guy that won Rookie of the Year, which he didn't deserve over Puka 2 years ago, I'm not betting on Houston, at least in this spot. All right. the double dip nightcap on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a fun one. Going to be a big one, by the way. We got my boy Cade Horton. Here's a who, which we'll get to in a bit. He's going against which lined up to be Paul Skeens, a battle of my incubator guys in college. Two guys that absolutely dominated in the College World Series in their time. It's going to be a big Monday night. 2 football games and Cade Horton against Skeens. But Los Angeles Chargers -3 at Vegas. I'll let you start this one, Brad.
What the F is this line? -3? If I haven't seen a trap ever, it's got to be a trap written all over it. What is this line? Coming back from, where were they at? Rio de Janeiro, going to Las Vegas. I would actually prefer to, but you know what sucks is I would have preferred to fade the Chargers next week after the Las Vegas hangover than the letdown spot. I mean, I lean Chargers here. I just feel like, what am I missing with this line though? Why is it 3? Why is it not 4.5? The Raiders weren't good. They weren't good. I was on the Raiders. They weren't good. They should have never won that game.
I'm kind of looking for a reason to take the Raiders, but I don't have one. I agree. I don't think they played particularly well. The Chargers have a really good defense. They had one last year. It was on display. It was on display in Brazil. Herbert looked awesome. If this is the Herbert we're going to get, like the Herbert we've been waiting years for, like, do you remember when Herbert had that 5,000-yard, 40-touchdown season? What is it, like 2020, 2021, whenever it was? He hasn't really had those big numbers, but he had an awesome year last year. Super efficient, wasn't a pass-heavy team, but he still managed to look really good. And I'm not saying Herbert's going to be three bones, 3 tutties every time.
Yeah.
But, dude, just off eye test, he looked great. And I remember tweeting it after the first drive. Like, he looks big. He looks strong. He looks decisive. He looks fast. He's throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. And now Quentin Johnston is all of a sudden starting to catch the ball. I mean, you got Lad Daddy. You got Laddie Daddy. You got Keen Daddy. And you got Q. Marion Hampton's in the wings. Their defense is great. I mean, this could be one of those spots where you struggle against a divisional opponent on the road. Yeah. But, I mean, there's no matchup for me, especially Brock Bowers is banged up. There's nothing in my head right now that'd be like, yeah, I got to take the Raiders. There's nothing. Like,
nothing.
What do they have? What do they have that you can point out a specific matchup, especially if Brock Bowers is hurt?
They weren't even getting good push on their offensive line. They made what's his name? Frick, I'm drawing a blank. Ashton Genty. They made his life really difficult.
Yeah, I think laying the Chargers here -3. I think the Chargers are going to be a good team this year. I liked what I saw from them, and I'm not overreacting. It's just, dude, the way LA played on both sides of the ball and just seeing what they could be, it's scary. And
that team, man, we need to shout out Quentin Johnston because, dude,
picked him up in my league. I had the 7th waiver and I still got him. I was shocked.
I didn't get anybody I wanted, but shout out to him.
I like the Chargers here. Let me ask you a question, because I'm taking a look at their schedule right now, and it's always hard because you're really in a gauntlet here in the AFC. But what's your thoughts on Herbert for MVP? Now, obviously, he got smashed because he had a big game. They beat the Chiefs. They get the tiebreaker. Now, like, on national television, Herbert's down to 12-1. I don't remember exactly where I'd have to go back to our preseason show. I don't remember where he started, but he's 12-1 right now on FanDuel for MVP. Like, are you buying that at all?
No.
So just so you know,
I'm not.
Just listen. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not saying I am.
Was it you who did it preseason? I did a show with someone who took him preseason.
I didn't take him preseason.
Dude, I was like, yeah, right. And now I'm like, damn, maybe you were right,
I mean, I don't know what Herbert was. I think he was probably less than 30-1. Might have been like 20-1, 30-1. I apologize because I have to go back and check. But they're at the Raiders this week. Come home to play Denver. It's a tough matchup. Go to the Giants. Come home to play Washington. Tough matchup. Go to Miami, which, by the way, if you're down to come down for that week, I might be down to go
Hell yeah.
to that game. Come home to play Indy. Home against Minnesota. At Tennessee. Home to Pittsburgh. At Jacksonville. Home to Vegas. Later in the seasons where it gets a little tough. Home to Philly. At KC. At Dallas, home to Houston, at Denver. But dude, I gotta be honest. If they're gonna play anything close to what they played, how they played in Brazil, they could realistically going into that week 14 game against Vegas, they could be pushing 9 or 10 wins at that point. Which, I mean, let's see if they beat one. Say they lose Denver 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. Say they lose to Minnesota 6-2. At Tennessee win 7-2. Pittsburgh win 8-2. Jacksonville win 9-2. Say they beat Vegas. Let's say they could have 9 or 10. Yeah, they could have 9 or 10 wins roughly going into that week 14 game against Philly.
That'd be, dude.
I mean, if they listen, it's still going to be tough overthrowing Lamar and Allen, but I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not rushing to bet it because it's going to move. I'd probably rather wait and see what it looks like when they play Denver because I feel like they struggle against Denver. But I got to be honest, I wouldn't hate buying Herbert for MVP right now because the matchups.
You got to do it now.
Because the Chargers are actually favored against Denver next week. Like the schedule opens up to the point where, like, if the Chargers get on a run and they're like 6-1 through their first 7 and Herbert's got good stats,
yeah,
then Herbert might come from be 12-1 and then come down to like 6-1, 7-1, 8-1.
Fair.
So I think if you're going to buy Herbert, I'd buy now. It would suck because how many years ago that I started betting Herbert for MVP? It's just late. But Brad, real quick, we got to discuss our guy here, Cade Horton.
Okay, bro.
I know it's a football show.
Yeah.
But how about my boy, Cade Horton? Here's a who. Been talking about him for 3 years. I've been excited for this moment for him to come up. I got a bundle on him to win the NL Rookie of the Year. He shoved against the Braves last night. Second time in a row, which is incredibly difficult for a pitcher to do.
Dude.
Seeing the same team back-to-back. Dominated. 6 1/3, 1 earned. What am I missing that, like, Drake Baldwin should be in this conversation right now?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like, bro, our boy Cade, 2.7 ERA, dude, like freaking balling, bro. 10-4,
I don't understand it.
I just think they like the name, right?
But I don't know what I'm missing. I think this has got to be Cade Horton right now. If he keeps doing it. He's got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, St. Louis to finish. 3 divisional games. We need to get Cade Horton home. When did you bet him? Did you bet him after I made the whole tweet about it?
No.
When did you bet him?
I bet after which start was that?
The Angels start.
After the August 13th.
That
was against no, it was before then. Wait. Damn, it must have been July. It must have been June then.
You bet him in June?
It must, yeah. No, or it was been at least 2 months. What would that put us at?
Oh, you've had Cade Horton ticket for a minute.
So around July, but he had like a bunch of Ks and like only gave up like, oh, It must have been the Red Sox start then, because he had 4 Ks, didn't give up a run, had 2 hits through 5.
You've had him since June 20th or July 20th.
Yeah,
Damn, what'd you get him at?
bro, it wasn't even good back then. It was like
What was
3,
it? What?
maybe 3 something.
3-1?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, I don't think he was that low then. Was he? No.
Let me just check.
I'm curious.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. But yeah, so that's looking good. We got to get our boy Cade Horton home. But so it was a solid week 1 for us. For whatever reason, a lot of the winners I gave out on my videos and on this podcast, I didn't end up putting on my card. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Like the Kyron under I gave out, but I didn't put it on my card. Green Bay money line won. I didn't put it on my card. Minnesota Vikings -2.5. Aaron Jones anytime tutty gave out on RotoWire. Wrote it up in an article for Monday night. Didn't give it out. I don't know why. Won't happen again. But overall, it was a solid week. And come win with us. Come win with me. Subscribe in my Twitter to the Discord. It's $200 for the whole season. Regular post. Every single play that I'm putting out. Futures, sides, totals, player props, any teasers, futures, access to the Discords. And I will still help you with your Sunday morning fantasy start sits.
I got him middle of August, 22 to 1.
22 to 1?
2 to 1, middle of August.
2 to 1. Oh,
Yeah.
August. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes more
What
sense.
start was that? I really want to know.
Was it the Toronto start? And then
Oh, the Toronto start. Yeah.
Then he got hurt, and then he left the game against Milwaukee with the blister.
Yeah, it was the Toronto start. He had 8 Ks. Okay, so I did say it was a Toronto start. I was thinking it was earlier in the season. So it was a Toronto start. 8 Ks, only gave it 1 earned run. Yeah.
Should have bought back in when I put out my whole tweet. He was like 30 to 1, maybe.
Bro, I was freaking this.
He might have been 40. He might have, after that Milwaukee start, I think he might have been 40 to 1, like right after, because everybody was like freaking out that he was done because something happened. And then I think I saw 40 to 1, and then it like was settling around 30, 35. And then it came down again. And then 25 is where I sniped it at. And I was like, it doesn't make sense, because before he got hurt, he was like 12 to 1, 11 to 1. But yeah, anyway, get in on the Discord, get all the winners with us. We're going to have a big year. We're off to a solid start after week 1. And of course, we're going to be doing this every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We're going to be doing the game day kickoff show, running through our final card and running through all the movements, all the injuries, all the updates. Brad, tell everybody where they can find you and your glorious work.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Mr. Brad Thomas, and also on the TikTok at Brad's Best.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight, staying up a little later with us. We will see you on Sunday. Make sure you're getting in on the action, and we look forward to it.